Hi everyone, welcome to this installment. It's all about transition. So prior in our last episode, we talked about getting some more autonomy, start doing a little bit of extra things around the house, maybe some laundry, like dusting or cleaning, take a little bit of mini trip to the grocery store, not a long time period. So maybe you've incorporated some of those things that I've started to incorporate as we've kind of been working through the knee replacement. And if you're thinking about it, how are you going to make those little mini strides back or milestones? So in this episode about transition, it's about increasing that activity. And in addition to that, with your therapy appointments, with your knee bend and the mobility and the range of motion back, some new varied exercises that you've been given, hopefully at this stage of the game. And we are about 6 to 7 weeks out post-op. So we're coming up strong on that 2-month milestone. So as you're starting to use that transition period to think about, like me, going back into the work or the community for an event or activity or at school, what you should be thinking about in that therapy perspective or working with your therapist on is some of the bending that is 100 degrees plus from a backward perspective. It's hard work. It makes me cry, and it should, as it should you, as we're going through that process. But we're also doing other extension activities and strengthening, so like standing on one leg, starting to use some stairs. I know I personally really avoided stairs prior to surgery, not only because of the knee and the pain and issues there, but I do have some eyesight issues that impact that. So using the stairs now, it's cautiously optimistic, let's put it that way. We've been doing very well. I'm pretty happy. But for you and what your circumstances are, you just want to talk about that. Your therapy appointment should be starting to trend downward to like 2 days a week. But your activity and your commitment to those daily exercises in the house as part of your transition, and we've talked a little bit earlier, you should be on a schedule now. You should either be doing morning, evening, afternoon, morning, something that really keeps you in that momentum and really continues to stretch with those different and varied exercises that you've been given. Also, in terms of transition, you're starting to think about, if you hadn't been driving, how are you going to get to places? If you have been driving, the logistics of parking in new locations. Sometimes you're on the cane still, maybe you're on the walker still, maybe you're independent. I'm a little bit in between being independent, non-cane dependent, and then when I leave the house, still using the cane for kind of security mostly with different surfaces. But you definitely are thinking about those different aspects. The other thing you're thinking about when you're transitioning is, hey, we've been really lucky maybe during this therapy time, like me, to be in kind of sweats or shorts or something like that, but now you're going back into a school or an enclosed environment like a workplace. What does that wardrobe look like? How do you stay cool? Because, you get hot walking around with that cane, or with the medication, maybe it's making you hot, or just different varying temperatures. You're moving from summer to fall, layers. How do you work with that? So you want to start putting some thought into your wardrobe and how you're going to manage that with not only the different backpacks or maybe the briefcase, but then also the cane or the mechanisms you're still using. So you just want to start thinking about that a little bit more. Also, what are your nutritional acclimates are going to be? So if weight loss has been a part of this journey for you, as it has for me, I don't want to slip back into old patterns now that I'm going back into the job. So think about, how are you going to manage those snacks, those meal times, along with your medications. And speaking about medications, we should start weaning off. Now, not something that hurts you, because you definitely don't want to have pain, and you really should be talking to your doctor and therapist about your personal situation. But for me, at this stage of the juncture, I am starting to kind of wean off some of the heavy medications, using them only as needed at night to kind of calm your body down after the last exercise, the last stress of the day, that you kind of fall into that little bit of sleep that you need to kind of keep you refreshed, keep you going. So those are some transitional things that maybe you should be thinking about as you're making your way back into the work school environment. And again, you're at this stage of the game, if you're like me, having had the knee replacement about 6-7 weeks out, you're really starting to see that increase in mobility and activity. Maybe some of those residual pains around the joint replacement are still there, like they are for me, but we're starting to see momentum, and we don't want to give up. We don't want to stop. We want to push that momentum forward based on our conversations with our medical professionals. And then for those thinking about having the surgery or it's coming up for you, take this time to read, listen to this, kind of think about your own plan, not only as you get ready for surgery, as you've seen in videos while we've gone through the recovery process, but we're now in this transition period because recovery starts to look different. As we're going through the next set of videos over the next couple months, we will start to see more mobility. I will kind of start walking around as we do videos to show you kind of what mobility looks like, and then other topics that we might want to start to come to understand and work through. So I hope that you find something in this video around transitions that work for you, whether it be the meals, transportation, thinking about dress code, varying activity that we're starting to do, medication kind of decrease, anything around that. And if you have a comment or something that you've been through, leave it here at the bottom of this video as well. Share it, get other information out there. And next time we'll take another look at that scar so that we can see the progression of that as well, because things should start to really look good at this point. I'm pretty pleased, but I want to save that for you for another show. Talk to you later.